and input cruising through the airwaves. Transformers knowledge blast that never caves. Reviews so sharp they'll cut through steel. In the podcast world, they're the real deal. Jumping in the deep end, swimming with the best. Danny's got the info and she never needs to rest. Input's got the passion like a roaring jet. Together they make a mark you won't forget. Dynamic duo, never gonna quit. Taking over airwaves, super lit. Transformers podcast, bringing the heat. Every single episode can't be beat.
Hey, welcome to the state of the Transformers fandom. Today we're talking is G1 ruining Transformers and some more updates on the Tariff Wars. How you doing, Mr. Input?
I'm doing fine. How's everybody out there in TV land, including yourself, Danny D?
Not bad. Yeah.
That's right, folks. As Danny just said, we're going to be talking about, is G1 actually ruining Transformers or holding Transformers back? And we're also going to be talking about the tariffs that are soon to impact your wallet. Is it soon or is it not soon?
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
Maybe it's later. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome everyone in the chat. Yeah, Rachel, it's been a long time. Hello, Daniel. Mama. Yeah, sorry I had to bring it to you at a different time, but yeah, Input was sick too. I had stuff going on. I'm glad Input and Oracle are feeling better, but yeah, it was a bit of a juggle, and we still want to get today out on today, so move things along.
Yeah, I've been so after 5 years, I caught the COVIDs, right? Just kind of weird because I spent like 5 years and I was able to avoid it, and then all of a sudden it was just like, it hit like a wrecking ball, man. It was just like fine. I was feeling fine, and then boom, just down.
Yeah, that's what happened to me like that like a couple weeks ago. Like never during the whole thing, I never got really sick more than like a little sniffle or a little cold, but like that was like I had that full-blown fever right before the trip. Oh man, it was horrible.
Yeah. So, but we're doing better. I would say I'm like 85-90%. And Oracle's running laps. So
victory lap.
So yeah, we'll get there. But I think let's hit up this is G1 ruining or holding back? Let's just say it. Is G1 holding back / ruining Transformers? And I'm gonna hit the vote yes button on this one, because I kind of feel like G1 just can't get out of the way. It's like there's a lot of ideas that get done, but it's like pressed up against the box. Like you're thinking outside the box while pressed firmly up against it. You know what I mean? Like Transformers 1, like, okay, great, but it's all G1 characters, and it's like, oh, but it's pre-Cybertron type of stuff. It's like, yeah, but it's still Optimus Prime, it's still Megatron, it's still Starscream, it's still Soundwave, it's still Bumblebee, it's still all of these things, right?
I didn't like that movie at all. Like, I know it's not a popular opinion. I thought the design of the whole movie was crap. And the same thing, like the same characters and just some of the lore they put in. I just absolutely hated it. I'm sorry. There's moments I thought like if this had better animation, it could have been okay. But I don't like Megatron being good and friends and then bad. I like him just born evil. Like I like my villains born evil, but molded from fucking the depths of this universe is evil. But yeah, it's the same thing, the same characters. It gets redundant. And you know what I'm thinking is like a lot of these people, man, they're turning 50, 60, some of these G1 fans. I know they have the look of the Bumblebee, everyone can recognize it, a kid from whatever it's called, like the stuff you see like on party balloons and shit. But I just feel like if they just keep with it, like, so these G1 fans are gonna get older and older and older, and it's like it's just they need to freshen things up, they need to bring in a new wave of like an armada wave of people,
Well, I've said it before, this dies with us, and there's a lot of franchises out there right now that are suffering from that. Indiana Jones is one of them. I kind of feel like GI Joe is kind of in that same boat, right? You see a lot of kids aren't really interested, and people blame, oh, their tablets or their games or they're this or they're that. Dude, that doesn't really have anything to do with it, right? You could still get invested in these characters if the product was good, right? Like if they did a GI Joe video game that, like, I mean, killer single person story, really good multiplayer, that kind of stuff, and just gave it a kick-ass story, and then that would kind of start merging like generations and stuff, right? And then from there you could branch it off, and you can do the same thing with Transformers and stuff like that, right? And that's the thing that I feel like, where are these companies going to be? Like, we've already see Hasbro, they're sectioning off things, and then they're letting other companies make toys for those things, right? Like, they're just rights holders at that point, right? But where is that going to be? That's a very short-sighted fix to a long-term problem.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. So I think they need to get G1 out of the equation, and we've seen what can happen, like Transformers animated, right? Yes, it had G1 characters. Yes, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and stuff. But you did have people like Bulkhead in there and stuff like that. The same thing with Transformers Prime. Same thing with the Bayverse. Yes, you had the mainstay characters in there, but they were still new ideas. It was still fresh ideas. It was still like a refresh for these characters. They weren't stuck in this like G1 like Neo G1 type of mindset with everything. And yeah, what happens now when we're 50, 60, all this other stuff, and now we're worried about getting sick, worried about paying our hospital bills, worried about doing this stuff and everything else, right? So yeah, just let it go. Just let it die, or
Yeah.
refreshing.
Yeah, or just like they just got to do it better. It just has to be better marketing. Like I understand the G1 stuff has such a mainstay that they need to still put it in generations, and they still need to do some of it along the way. But like, they need to branch out as well. They need to take a risk. And like, I know it's maybe not the right time with how bad prices are going up, and they don't know right now. It is a weird time with everything, like what's going on with the world. But like, in the long run, they got to take more of a risk again. Like, when they've been at their lowest, they took risks. Like, they were nothing, and they did Beast Wars. That was so left field, right? Like, I even thought it was whack too, but then the show was great, and then I liked the toys after. So, I mean, they're just in that mainstay of like not totally dipping to an ultimate low, but they're at like, when they take their risks, when they're low, but now they're kind of at that, they don't drop all that way down anymore. They're still like kind of just hanging in there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
and
tough call, yeah,
and that's pretty much it. I just feel like they should just, if you're not going to tell a story for an adult G1 fan, right? And make it as hyper, I don't want to say hyper violent, but as realistic as what a war really is, and just tell a really good story aimed at that G1 audience, then let it just get it out of the way and do something else. So I mean, Transformers 1 proved that it needs a refresh, especially after you got like IDW being so popular, and was it Stormbound right now, right?
Yeah.
Like those were aimed at adults with G1 characters, right? Like with real sensibilities and real consequences to actions, and and stuff like that. And that's what Transformers needs to be at this point, or you need to completely scrap it and start completely over with it.
Mhm.
So yeah. Rachel in chat says, "What will draw me back in is more Datamus playing Basketball Prime."
Hey, Paul. Yeah, yeah. That's a tough one. Yeah, I think like yeah, they missed the ball. Like that new Transformers One movie. Like if they like, it was kind of like a little more hardcore in a sense, but like it still looked too kiddish to me. Like it just yeah, you got to go one way or the other. You know.
Yeah, and I don't think that trailer helped because
No, the first trailer was trash. Yeah,
that trailer made it feel more like a bad Marvel movie
it
than
did.
a Transformers
Yeah.
movie. So,
But if it was grittier, like you said, they could take a risk, man. Like guess who's buying the toys at this point? The old people.
yeah,
Especially the generations figures because they're going to be costing out the ass. So I mean, it's just like what you're gonna use. Not enough adults are going to watch the adult Transformers show. I don't think so.
yeah, I mean exactly, and that's a pretty good segue into the tariff. That was really good, Danny. That was good.
I don't want to tear a rift between us with this tariff, but yeah, I'm stoked on the tariffs, man. If you're too poor to be in this game and collect, then see you later. More robots on the shelf.
Damn.
No, I don't. Really
Oh man, that's where we're going.
No, I really don't feel that way. Trust me.
Dude, do we just pack our bags and move over to Asshole Town or what? Like,
too poor to be in this game player. No, yeah, it's crucial, man. We kind of looked at that thing, and you kind of remember like the price jump for the states now. At least they're kind of maybe guessing at. So, what do you remember? Kind of what that was?
I thought it was something like $35 a deluxe, $40 a deluxe, something in that range. And then something was like what was it? I think the Voyagers were gonna go up to like 44, 45, like a $10 increase there.
Yeah.
And then leaders were supposed to be like 60.
Yeah.
Or 65 or something like that.
70,
Yeah, and mind you, this is all on top of when Chris Cox during that interview on Yahoo Finance, God, man, 2 months ago or something, he basically said that like they're going to try and eat the cost as much as possible for the non-collector,
hey.
like
yeah.
the non-collector lines, but like anything they consider a quote unquote collector line is going to get hit with the tariff and stuff, like the tariff price increase or whatever, because the collectors can handle it or something, or they're used to it. That's what he said. Like the collectors are used to it. And I'm like, dude, we can, first of all, it's Hasbro. They can eat the cost. I don't really care what anybody says, and everybody will sit here and tell me, well, a company's supposed to make money, blah, blah. Yeah, that's fine. But they could totally eat the cost on that. And they have shown absolutely, no goodwill towards their fans at all in the last like 5 years or so, and 6 years. And it's also gotten to a point now where the price increases, the prices have been steadily increasing year after year after year. We had one year where the price increased like 2 or 3 times.
Oh yeah.
And that was what, 2022 or something?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So yeah, it's like at the end of the day, it's going to get to a point to where we're not buying it, not because we're not going to buy it because there are going to be people who can't afford it. There are going to be people who won't afford it. And there are going to also be people that they're just going to be like, I'm not spending $65 on whatever figure that Hasbro wants me to spend this on or whatever, and they're just going to take their money and put it towards something else.
It really destroys like collecting multiple lines. And in Canada, we've already had some pretty insane price increases. Like Toys R Us is extremely higher than anyone anyways. But right now to get that blue Grimlock G2 at Toys R Us is 92 Canadian dollars before tax. It's about like 89 or something at GameStop, something like that. But it's expensive. So I know Canada was already saying like if they could work something out where they just get it shipped directly to us now, and the tariffs won't affect us. They're trying to look into that. I mean, that's not an overnight thing by any means. And 4 years later, after it comes in and Buddy's gone or whatever happens, it's gonna be. It's just they're trying to figure out something for the short term if they can, but it's not easy, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is like by the time you guys get any kind of infrastructure to
Yeah.
have that be an option,
Yeah.
like it's okay.
Yeah, things might be back to normal, but the biggest trading partners in the world aren't friends right now. Does that make any sense to anybody out there? No.
Nope. Nope. I mean, I could go into globalism and
Yeah,
how
still getting too
basically, like,
political, but people are asking
yeah,
a little bit about that, and it's just like, yeah, that's how we feel. Like we're supposed to be trading all the time with each other. Yeah, things haven't gone 100%, but yeah, it's tough, man, to see this. It's sad. Like I love the hobby. Like I don't
yeah.
want. If what Voyagers, if they went up here, they're already $50. So if they go up another 15, $65 for a Voyager, 63, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like there are going to be so many people not buying hardly. You go from a point from where like you could get 2 deluxes for the price of 1 liter.
Yeah.
Now, now we're moving past that to basically like the cost of a deluxe is what, or the Voyager cost of a Voyager is a deluxe. Like, dude, there's so many people already out on it, and they're kind of waiting to see if this line was going to be good or whatever, and then now they're getting hit with this. Yeah, it's just I don't even know. Like seriously, I'm a loss for words for all of this because there are so many companies out there that could take the hit on this, right? Like and eat that cost and still be perfectly fine. And they're choosing not to, and it's going to end up damaging them more so than anything else.
Yeah, it's the ficklest market right now anyways, toy collecting. Like, dude, people are already out because of the cost. With this coming in, like, I know people are like, I saw someone reviewing a figure the other day, an honest reviewer, and they were just loving the figure. This is so sick. This is so cool. Like, I love this shit. If this goes up to another $10, I'm fucking out, they said. So I mean, someone that loves it that much is still saying I'm out if it goes to like $45 for a fucking deluxe or whatever after tax, right?
And see, and that's something that they could do to kind of adjust. They could add plastic back into it, make the figures not hollow, and then because that cost them pennies per figure.
Oh yeah, the figures
right?
were like, if the price went up a little for sure, and the figures were like like obviously not Mayfex or whatever, but they were like a very well, like no holes, no gaps. It's a strong looking figure. Like I'd be like okay with some of it, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like you could kind of make it to where like people don't feel like they're getting completely ripped off. Like in terms of like Transformers, you could take away all the hollow points and you could, thicken the plastic back up and stuff and kind of be like, hey, look, we know the tariffs are coming and this is what we're going to do with our figures going forward. To kind of make it feel like you're getting more for that money, because like I said, to add all that plastic back in cost them pennies per figure, 5 cents a figure,
totally.
10 cents, whatever it is, right? So yeah, it's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So, but they're absolutely choosing not. I doubt they will choose to do that.
Yeah.
100%. And that's gonna, like I said, that's just gonna cause people to bail the fuck out, and that's it.
Yeah, sad because it's like I said, there's so much of this hobby people love from before, and they want to just stick with, and it's just sad to see it go such a weird way.
Yeah, definitely. But where do you go? You could take your money and put it into other things, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. still collect. There's other ways you can collect, get stuff sent cheaper. But I mean, this Hasbro mainline stuff, right? You can still buy old figures on eBay or whatever you want to collect. Go to support your local stores, but for older stuff or this and that. But yeah, collecting this mainline stuff as it's coming out, like who's gonna be still collecting every Marvel Legends they want, classified Transformers? Like it's Black Series people aren't really into, but you know what I mean. Like, are you really gonna be jumping on all these lines still with all these hikes?
Well, shit. I think GI Joe right now, the classified line is the only line. And correct me if I'm wrong, but like I feel like that's the only line that they're doing. They're not doing the same character over and over and over and over and over again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, in terms of like Marvel Legends, it's like another Spider-Man. Here comes another, another, whatever, Iron Man, another this or that or whatever. In terms of Transformers, it's like, okay, what Optimus Prime is going to get crammed into this wave, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like with classified, maybe Cobra Commander is the one that gets like all the reissues or re-releases or whatever. Like, but yeah, JSP, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wolverine, yeah.
Deadpool.
And they ignore so many of their mainstream villains and stuff, like, Jesus Christ, dude, just look at a Hulk. Look at Hulk's gallery of villains, right? And they made the Leader and Red Hulk, and that's it. Like off the top of my head, that's all I can think of, right? Like, they haven't done a new Abomination, a new like a Blue Hulk even. Like you would think that's a really easy repaint. Just do Blue Hulk, right? I mean, whatever. But yeah, I feel like Classified is the only one, like I said, that isn't doing that. So,
yeah.
But let's see. Rachel says, in terms of Marvel Legends, just give me a good comic accurate Daredevil. Also says, hey, according to certain new movie, Red Hulk is a Captain America villain.
Yeah. So said Ireland prices will go sky high. I've heard that from a few people. Wilbur too, saying that before. This is a long time ago that some of these prices are crazy already. So I mean, it's kind of like reflects on how Canada is. So
well, that's something I didn't even think about. Where like where in the U.S. it's going to hit us 25% from Japan, 50% from whatever, 3,000% from China or whatever. Like
China percent. Yeah.
Well, I mean, whatever,
yeah, it's so funny. Yeah,
whatever ridiculous BS number he wants to throw out there, right? But in terms of like places where it's already expensive, like like you guys, like $40 a deluxe.
Oh yeah,
already, right? Like you guys are gonna be.
That's what they're saying. Like we'll see what happens, how they're gonna adjust it here, because like I said, the fallout will be so massive.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, when it was cheaper, man, like, it felt better. Like I said, that's the thing they're missing nowadays is, like, when it was cheaper, like, people sometimes even bought more because they got more for their dollar. It's like, I used to get, like, 4 or 5 deluxes for 100-something bucks. Now it's, like, $70 for 2 deluxes. So, I mean, sometimes I felt okay spending, like, $150 because I got, like, a Voyager, 5 deluxes or whatever at the time, right? And it was like, oh, yeah, this is awesome. Like, I felt like, that's in my budget and like I'm getting this much. But now you go, I'm not even spending over my budget, but I get 2 figures for $70. I feel like it's just depressing. And I'm not cheap by any means, me. Like I like to spend money and buy stupid shit over and over. But it's for even me, it affects me mentally.
I mean, yeah, dude, and that's the thing that a lot of these companies don't understand. I've preached this to the heavens for years now. If you drop the prices, you sell more product. It's just simple business, you know.
Mhm.
But people and companies have gotten so concerned with the, I want $1 a day every single day.
Mhm.
That's a possible dollar that, it might be there, it may not, versus the guaranteed $5 tomorrow, you
Mhm.
know. Um, and that's sad, and that kind of puts us in the shape that we're in right now. From a collecting standpoint, from a country standpoint, from a global standpoint, in any and all this stuff, you
Mhm.
know.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
it constantly just, it's spread out.
Mhm.
That mentality, and I mean, we're talking 2008, 9 deluxes were $10, and minimum wage was still 7.25. And people will sit here all day long and talk about, oh, it's an inflation thing and it's a this and it's that thing and blah. Okay, but at 7.25 for minimum wage was $10 a deluxe.
Mhm.
7.25 minimum wage now at $25 a deluxe before the tariffs jump in, right?
Mhm.
Like, instead of working an hour and 10 minutes, you got to work like 3.5 hours,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's absurd. That's disgusting. It's
You don't
gross.
want to know what I have to do on the internet just to buy a couple of Voyagers. It's just sad. But
And if you want to be part of it for only $3.99 a month,
but yeah, I know it all comes and goes. But yeah, it's just it's crazy, man. Like I'm in the toy stores now, and like parents don't even want to buy their kids that cheap crap that's on there for like that cheap stuff for Transformers. Like the parents like that's too expensive because it's like $20 for like the cheapest looking figure you've ever seen.
yeah,
Like, and people don't even want to buy that, so they're just imploding on themselves. And I know it's not all they're the toy company's fault, like exactly like some of this upcharge, or well, they don't know exactly where it's going right now, right? So, but it's just it's a mess. I'm getting messages every day from like Big Bad TF Source, like, well, if you don't pay for this up front, like the tariff charge might come in, it might not, like blah blah blah. It's just a constant change, like day to day right now.
yeah. I got an email from them talking about a surcharge on certain figures, and they're gonna
Mhm.
give you the option to cancel your order
Yeah,
if, like, I don't know, like a day or two or whatever it is. But they're gonna give you the option if you're not happy with the final price because of the surcharge.
yeah, yeah.
But I saw, but see, so like the thing that frustrates me is I pre-ordered the Mafex Robin because they were the only ones that had it.
Mhm,
And it was an $11, it cost me $11 to pre-order it that I can't get back,
mhm.
right? So now I'm gonna get hit with this surcharge on this Robin. I don't know how much that surcharge is, right?
Mhm.
Um, because fucking President Cheeto can't make up his mind for it to last long enough so these companies can make up their mind, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, okay. But now I'm locked into that pre-order, and if I cancel it, then I'm out the $11 no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So, well, perfect. So, but then I go to look at that's on the Mafex stuff, right?
Mhm.
I go to take a look at some of the Hasbro stuff, some of the Marvel Legends stuff, and some of it doesn't even have the surcharge applied to the Hasbro stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't yet, yeah.
So it's like I feel like I'm not blaming BBTS because all of this, can get really confusing, especially when they're on again, off again, pause. Oh,
Yeah.
it's 25% now for a week, and it's 10% 7 days from now. And then starting on the 31st, it's 1,000%. Blah, blah. Like all this stuff gets confusing, and you have to keep
Mhm.
up with it. And they're trying the best that they can too. Like BBTS and the rest of them trying to keep up with it the best that they can. So all that gets confusing, but I have to wonder why in the same space if if their Marvel Legends are being produced in China
Mhm.
and China's getting hit with the whatever 300% or whatever it is tariff, right?
Mhm.
And Japan's getting hit with like a 15 or 25%. but both figures are made in China. So since I guess what the Marvel Legends comes from China directly to the US, so maybe that's how they avoid it. And because they go to Mayfex has to be dropped off at Japan because their warehouse is in Japan and it's got to come from Japan, right?
Yeah.
So like it I don't know, man. But
the other thing too is like ages 3 and up. I was talking to them when we were at the toy show and at their store. One guy there, one of the owners, was telling me that like if you know because they have the option like pre-order without paying or pay up front. So if you pay up front now for those expensive toys from Japan, it's the cost that it is right now. So if you pay up front, which is a pain in the ass, you don't have to pay the tariff increase, like if it's sitting in your loot and it's paid for and stuff. But if you go do the option of pay when it's released, then that stuff can hit you, right? So I mean that's just it's a hard thing to know what to do.
Well, see, and that's the thing is like I feel like tariffs right now are being used as a threat.
Yeah. It's
because I've seen car dealers talk about you should get in on this Lexus LS 350 before the tariffs kick in. They're using it as like a fear tactic, right? And I'm not saying that it's like what everybody's doing, but it is definitely something that people are definitely doing. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to be strong-armed into giving somebody my money just because on a whim over here, because you might have to pay more in 2 months when the figure comes out. Okay, if I have to pay more and I still really want it, depending on what it is, I'll get it then. You know, like because the way that the tariffs have been working, they're on. They only lasted for like 4 hours and they're off again. You know, in 3 months, there's going to be a this or that percentage or whatever. You know, it's basically just enough time for President Pigshit to crash the stock market for a couple hours so his billionaire buddies could go buy some stock and then sell the stock to make more money.
Sell.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, but in the meantime, it's created so much confusion with all of it. You know?
Yeah. Well, even with JSP saying like, yeah, they're gonna hike the prices up. Yeah, but like it has been a lot in the 5 years, but it has been somewhat minimal in the way that it's going. And like the sense, like I know it's been a lot. It has been a weird increase for sure, but like this doesn't help them though, because it's like this is pushing them to put their prices up before they even put their own prices up, right? So they're just gonna lose so many people. Like their way of increasing a little over time and sometimes they go higher, then bring it back down and play their game. Yeah, it sucks, but this is just like all over the place, I'd say.
Well, and Chris Cox did say like a week or two before the tariffs, when that Yahoo Finance thing came out, he was talking about prices were going to increase.
Yeah,
and that was like a week or two before.
Yeah, he's saying that anyways.
Before the tariffs and stuff. So
yeah.
So I do agree with JSP. They were going to get increased.
They were anyways. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I just mean like, you know, it still affects them in the sense of like they're going to increase it themselves and they're going to increase like, you know, then the tariffs on top, and then it's going to get people to flake out. You know, it's just all over the place. You know, but of course they're going to increase anyways. I wish it was just them increasing at this point, and it had nothing to do with the tariff. You know, but it's just the unknown, like the back and forth. Today it's this, tomorrow it's that. Yes, no.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I just, man, I don't know, dude. Like, you're playing with people's money, you're playing with people's food when it comes to all this stuff. And that's what's going to end up. If BBTS cannot tell me a for sure number, like, I mean, I've canceled all my pre-orders. The only one that I still have is the Robin because I feel like I'm locked into it.
Yeah.
And if, you know, push comes to shove, if I'm not spending $300 on a Mayfex Robin, you know, like, or 250 or whatever, you know, whatever it adds up to, right? Like I was already kind of like kind of, I guess like queasy or whatever however you want to say that, about spending like the $100 that he is right now on their
Yeah.
website, right?
Yeah.
So like if you're gonna sit here and be like, tell me, oh, he's $200 or he's 250 or he's 150 or whatever, then I just be like, well, I'm gonna keep, you can keep the $11, I guess, because you're not gonna get any more of it, right? So, but maybe I haven't called them. Maybe I should call BBTS and just be like, hey, you know, because of all the uncertainty or whatever, maybe I can just get my $11 credited back to me or something.
I think you can. Yeah, it just depends what. Yeah, it's confusing, but yeah.
Yeah.
I ended up canceling some stuff off them too. Just the mainline stuff, like some Marvel Legends and some, like, I kept all my expensive anime figures. I don't know how much they'll go up because they're coming from Japan, but I kept that stuff on there because it's just like that's like the only way I can basically get it at this moment. So yeah, but I kind of canceled some of just the light stuff, right? The stuff that could show up here might not show up here.
And JSP says, let's also remember that Maximum Series is a litmus test to see if they're going to the hike prices. Yeah, that Spider-Man, that was definitely a test to see if people were willing to spend $50 on a basic Marvel Legend. Rachel also says, and this is something that she touched on that I saw it and I was like, oh man, that opens up a whole different can of worms, right? But like she says, so how much will HasLabs be due to the tariffs? So like there's already a bunch of HasLabs that have already been paid, right?
Yeah, I paid all mine. Yeah.
So what happens now? Are these people that paid for these HasLabs, are they about to get hit for another $100 or whatever the tariff percentage would be?
I don't know. I think it could fall into that. If you prepaid, it should stay the same, but I don't know. Yeah, we don't know. Hopefully, I know so many people would not want it if they charge extra, like whatever, 200 to $100.
Yeah.
Oh, it was already 900 to get 2 Lio Kaiser sent to Canada, $900.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah.
You would have been better off just buying the original one in the box.
Yeah, I know. When I look back on it, I'm like, and I like G1 more actually. So, or the toys like that Japanese G1 style stuff I love. So yeah, I know it sucks, but I know just the FOMO. Like I said, I'm part of the problem, but. And so when you have every other HasLab, like I don't have the Unicron, but I have every other one they release. So it's just like, yeah, they just becomes part of the FOMO, I guess. And I already bought that His Tag secondhand, and it cost like, oh my god, it was an extra $400 on each one. So I just did not want to go through that again. Yeah, we were screwed because they shipped it and they put like a charge on the shipment. It was $200, and then it was $200 to pick up from the post office. So yeah, it was really
wow.
We got screwed. So Bart was like, just get them, and then whatever, right?
Yeah,
some money for this and that. But yeah, I don't know where this is all going. Like I said, it's day to day, minute to minute, moment by moment. So
yeah, I think I really don't think that too much is going to come from this, truthfully. I just think that like it's going to be a constant, like it's going to be a constant flux. Some people might, a tariff might enact, but we've seen the tariffs get enacted and then in like an hour or two or whatever, they don't get enacted, they get withdrawn or whatever. We've constantly seen that when it comes to all of this. And so I don't know. I don't think that it'll be a long-term thing.
No, God no.
If it does,
it'll be better than ever once it's all done. Like I know it's 4 years or whatever, but I mean, when things get reunited in a sense, I think Canada and America are gonna have an amazing trade deal.
Right. And Blue Raccoon says, with tariffs, what about liquidation stores? Maybe they can have some half original prices. I think like places like Ross and TJ Maxx and all of that stuff. I think that they're going to be the ones that become the heroes in all of this, truthfully. It's going to be what, Christmas 2023, whatever, all over again.
Yeah, probably. And like you said, like this probably won't, even if it goes through for how long or whatever happens, like, yeah, it will change eventually, right? And like some stuff it'll be hard to just change overnight. Like some stuff will be stuck up. But I mean, it's just, it gets darkest before the dawn. So, we're just at that point, right? We don't know how bad it's going to be. And then when it is that bad, and then we'll see the recovery, I guess, or whatever things change in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, I guess, Danny, you wanna head us out of here?
Yeah, I mean, that we just don't know where this is all heading. And I wish you guys luck. This hobby is supposed to be for fun. It's supposed to be the excitement of going and finding the toy, of being it somewhat affordable, and enjoying it with people and enjoying it with friends online, sharing it online. Like I said, this hobby is supposed to be fun and not cause a lot of anxiety. So just make sure you eat well and do your stuff. Like, don't go out of the way to buy stuff right now that you can't afford. Just stay within your budget and just kind of hold through and see how things go. And for that, yeah, just carry on. Be well. Do you want to say any last things?
I don't know what to say except for be good to yourself, be good to each other, and you know what? Make somebody smile today, whether it's yourself or whether it's somebody else. Spread that love around.
And blokies are still cheap.
We dance in digital lights. We laugh till morning light. Danny and friends.
Thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure. However, we must now conclude the program. We appreciate your viewership and apologize should we have inadvertently disrupted your evening. Please do not take any offense. We look forward to presenting another engaging topic next week.